Today we will learn about the future tense. So we'll take one by one all the future tenses: simple future, future continuous, future perfect and future perfect continuous. Now simple future tense is used to describe an action that will happen in the future, immediate or on the spot decisions, intentions, promises, predictions without evidence. So it is used to talk about the actions that are not planned. The speaker decides to do the action at the time of speaking. For example, they will go to college. We shall win the match. Now here it is not planned, only just decided. Now second use, things which are factual and cannot be controlled. So it is used to describe the things which are factual and cannot be controlled. For example, the sun will rise at 6 a.m. So we cannot control it. It will rise at 6 a.m. To indicate an instant decision. For example, I shall give you a precious gift. Now let us see the structure of affirmative sentences first. So here first we use subject, then shall or will, then base form of verb. Now subject, if subject is first person like I, we, then we will use shall, and if it is third person then we'll use, and second also, second and third person will use will. For example, I shall meet you at the mall. She will write a letter. They will help us clear the road. Now see here, I was the first person, so we used shall. Same way in the second example, she, which is the third person, we used will. Next, we'll see the structure of negative sentences. Now, the structure of negative sentences, first we use subject, then again will or shall, then not, and then base form of verb. For example, he will not arrive on time. They will not go to the beach tomorrow. She will not attend the school tomorrow. Now, interrogative sentences. So how we form interrogative sentences in the future, simple future tense. So again, interrogative sentences are of two kinds. I already told you. So when it is yes no question, then we use will, shall, subject and base form of verb. And examples are, will you meet me at the mall? Will she wait for us? Now let's see the second kind of interrogative sentences, which begin with question word. So first we use question word, then will, then subject and then base form of verb. Examples, when will you learn to drive? What will you cook for dinner? So now we will take future continuous tense. The future continuous tense is used to refer an unfinished action or an action will be in progress in the future, and it is used to indicate an action that will occur in the normal course. For example, I will be meeting her tomorrow. Then it is also used to indicate an action that will be in progress at a given point of time in the future. For example, at this time tomorrow, we will be attending the party. Now the structure is subject, shall be or will be, present participle and rest of the sentence. So in an affirmative sentence, we use subject first, then shall be or will be, and then present participle. For example, you will be joining the new office next week. She will be singing at the party tonight. Let's see the structure of negative sentences. We use first subject, then will or shall, not, then be, and then present participle. For example, he will not be waiting for us. Father will not be cooking lunch for us. Now, interrogative sentence. Now, the structure is will or shall, then subject, then be, and then present participle. For example, will this boy be wandering in the forest? Will she be waiting for us? And for the second type of questions, which begins with question word, the structure is question word, will or shall, then subject, be, and present participle. For example, how long will they be traveling? So, this ends the perfect tense. Now, the future perfect tense is used to describe an action which will be completed at some point of time in the future. It is used to show the completion of an action before a specified point in the future. For example, I will have saved up all my money by this time next year. So it is for the future, it is told that I will have saved up all my money by this time next year. Means next year by this time I would have saved up all my money. I shall have reached before the bell rings. To talk about actions that will take place after a given time in the future. For example, by next year, Vineet will have lived in Sikkim for 12 years. Now here, when we talk about the action which will take place in the future after a given time, like by next year. Now we are just planning that by next year, Vineet will have lived in Sikkim for 12 years. Means by next year, there will be 12 years when Vineet will have lived in Sikkim. Now, structure of affirmative sentences in future perfect. We use subject first, then shall or will, then have, and then past participle. We shall have cooked the food by the evening. They will have reached home by now. Now, structure of negative sentences. Here, subject, then same will or shall, then not, and then have, and third form or past participle. For example, the dog will not have finished its food by afternoon. I shall not have written the letter by noon. The passengers will not have reached the station before the train starts. Now, let's see the structure of interrogative sentences or the questions. So, for yes or no questions, we use will or shall, then subject, then have, and past participle. Same way for question words, we use question word first, then will or shall, then subject, then have, and then past participle. Now, let us see the example of first case. Will you have bought your apartment by the end of this year? See the second case. What will he have eaten before he sleep? Now finally we move to future perfect continuous. Let's see its structure and usage. Now the future perfect continuous tense is used to describe an action that will continue till a particular point of time in the future. Means it will not finish, it will start in the future and it will be continuing, it will not stop. Progressive. For example, at noon, Anuradha will have been singing songs for an hour. So in the future, at noon, Anuradha will have been singing songs. It's not started, but it would be done in the future. I shall have been working round the clock for 22 years next April. Means next April, by the next April, I shall have been working round the clock for 22 years. Next example, she will have been studying in the school for 3 years this March. Means by this March, she will have been studying in the school for 3 years. Next, let us see the structure of affirmative sentences in future perfect continuous tense. Subject, then will or shall, have, been, and present participle. For example, by next April we shall have been leaving for the USA. And for the negative sentences, we use subject, then will or shall, then not, have, been, present participle. For example, I shall not have been writing for an hour. Now, interrogative sentences, and the structure is, for yes no questions, we use will or shall, then subject, have, been, present participle. And for WH questions, question word, then will or shall, then subject, have been, present participle. For example, will she have been playing for some time? Why will you not been going to school since 8 o'clock? So, I hope you might have understood the tenses. Please go through the PPT again and then you will understand.